What was your "how the hell am I still alive" moment? Descent into Avernus. I played as a halfling barbarian. We were level 2 if I remember correctly, and a boss threw a fireball on himself to basically kamikaze. We all failed our saving throws, and everyone went down except for my little dude, who had 1 HP left, thanks to the bard's temporary HP. This one actually happened last session. In the previous session, my character, a Harengon named Farron, was forcefully attuned to the eye and hand of Vecna. The party had lost both of them in the session prior. So, he meets back up with the party, and chaos ensues. A nat 20 on perception later, along with a DC 23 hold person, and they have poor Farron stuck, and he can't even break out even with a nat 20. So, the DM was forced to get involved, having Vecna himself show up and practically go, "I've only had Farron for 5 minutes, but if something happens to him, I will kill everyone here, and then the whole world." After being let free, Farron cast Wish to teleport the party to another realm, just so they could get round 2 on an enemy that had dumpstered them 5 levels ago. Farron only got 15 minutes to himself before the party was teleported back, but by that time, the party had pretty much accepted Farron's fate. He was a dead rabbit walking. Playing in a Cypher game, I made a tank. I led the operation to kill this particular big bad evil guy's sister, encasing her in molten silver because she was immortal and dangerous. The big bad evil guy had a lot of minions and technology. We found a ravine, set up our defenses, and prepared for a standoff. I took the front line and held my ground. Dogs, hunters, flying blades, gunfire. It was like facing down a vampire army and their lord, and it was hard fought. While I kept the focus on myself, my allies were shooting, evading, and fighting back. My focus was on taking the hits and keeping the attention on me. One of my 3 stat pools ran out. Tasks got harder, and spending resources cost more, but I still held firm, taunting the enemy and drawing fire. The big bad evil guy came to fight face to face. I took a big hit. Another pool was reduced to 0. Now, I was unable to move. Might was 0, and now speed was 0. All I had left was my intellect and ability to think and talk. I used my action to, well, taunt him about his dead sister. I kept his attention on me. I took a full force hit, no roll to dodge because, well, I couldn't. I took the hit, and I was left with 1 point in my last pool. Then, my ally was able to activate a sun-based power and finish him off, and I survived. That last point in my stats was all that stood between me and death. In one of our games, I had 2 characters. I was playing a Pharmacius homebrew class who was a dancer. And for fun, the DM gave me a Goblin bard to play to my dance. Other PCs were a Barbarian, a Pugilist, a Ranger with Amnesia, and a Warlock. So our friendly neighborhood NPC got kidnapped, and we went to save them. We met some cannibalistic guys that looked like SCP-096, the Shy Guy, led by a member of a race that had caused the apocalypse 20 years ago. They were performing a ritual to create a magic storm, so every 5 rounds you had to make a dex save, or take around 50 damage. The Warlock even died because of that storm after the Ranger broke the regulator. A portal had been created, and it was our only option. All the while, the main bad guy stole a deck of many things from my Goblin. Even though I hate the deck, I couldn't let him have it. So, during the raging magic storm, the Goblin tried to steal it back, while my medic was tanking everything because she could heal herself. In this world, when goblins are exposed to raw magic, they have a chance to go feral. So, on top of dex saves, I was rolling wisdom saves for my Goblin. Somehow, he made it and got the deck, but my medic got hit by hold person. So, my Goblin pulled 3 cards thinking, If I'm going down, you're all going down with me. He got a wish, a magic item, and a free feat. So he wished for everyone in our party to be sucked through the portal, including the dead warlock. On the other side, we leveled up, and my medic gained the ability to bring someone back from the dead if they had been dead for less than 5 minutes. But after using this ability, she was exhausted and couldn't use it for a week, so she saved the warlock, who somehow changed races after resurrection. We ended up going into the Feywild, in the land of the Ice Queen. In safety, the medic collapsed in the snow from exhaustion, not noticing the barbarian stealing the deck of many things from the Goblin, who had to make the last wisdom save to avoid going feral. He succeeded, but the deck was stolen. The barbarian got a wish and wished for us to be where the Ice Queen was. We appeared in the palace, surrounded by high CR guards, almost killed by them, by the way. But the ranger asked about some names that he had just remembered. The Ice Queen said that one of them was a Green Knight. So, my exhausted medic got up and spilled the beans that we were supposed to deliver something to the Green Knight. For this information, the Queen let us live and threw us out of the palace and her city. The warlock, bored, drew from the deck, pulling the death card and losing the duel. But the DM was kind and just lowered her con. And then the pugilist drew over the protests of my medic and pulled the death card again. The DM had shuffled the deck. Luckily, he won and, well, got nothing. My medic took the deck because she had a high passive perception and they couldn't steal it from her. In the end, we made a deal with a leprechaun. Thanks to some weed my medic had and some demon meat the pugilist had. And we were safely led back to our dimension. I still have no idea how we survived all that, but it really made a point that my character is the mom of the party and the voice of reason. Yeah, no kidding, y'all are insane. A player's character was once crushed to death by the USS Constitution. The only reason the guy survived was because the Grim Reaper himself was too focused on another person to notice. By far, my favorite was my Paladin, Elric. The party took on a high-level caster who was paired up with a red dragon and some evil dragonborn acolytes. Between the caster casting meteor and a few fire breaths from the dragon, everyone was down except for Elric, who had about, 20 HP left. A quick hop and jump to lay on hands for the cleric to get her back up, and some shield wall action to give her time to cast a high-level heal, and we were good to go again. It's still hard to believe it wasn't a TPK, but it did bring about a funny joke that everyone in the party, apart from Elric, is allergic to falling rocks. Army besieging a city. Leader of that army has, history with my character. We had previously found a pile of magic bombs in their camp, used a dispel magic on one, which deactivated its containment field, meaning it was going to blow up within the next couple of hours. And as it became more and more unstable, think of an unchecked nuclear reactor, as it were. We stole another one just to study, escaping on our flying carpet, setting down a mile or so away in the woods. So while the monk and the warlock stayed with the bomb to study, I'd proposed I'd walk back to keep an eye on things in the army camp. In truth, I had an idea. The walk took about half an hour or so the timing later works, don't get confused. So being a strength build fighter with +1 dex, +0 charisma, and no possibility of invisibility, and no proficiency in either stealth, persuasion, or deception, I somehow managed to not only infiltrate the army camp, but disguise as one of their soldiers, sneak into the commander's tent, convince the army's leader to come with me if you want to live, warning him about the coming explosion, without his bodyguards! All while claiming there was no time to fetch them. Took him out of the camp, where the other two of my party had just arrived after finishing studying the bomb, overwhelmed him, choking him out unconscious, kidnapping him. I have no idea how I managed or even survived any of that. Sheer dumb luck. My rogue was thrown overboard, he got swallowed by a giant fish, hacked until it spit him out, Then he got swallowed again. Spitters are quitters. He hacked his way out and rode the damn thing's head until it crashed into an island, only to get swallowed again. Really sticking it to the man there. Somehow he managed to make it crash into a beach though. Now he nearly ripped himself clean open just trying to pry its massive maw open to escape. Half his wounds were from acid and being out of breath. The other half were from the bunch of weapons he carried that got loose and tore into him while inside the thing's stomach. Well, how did he live, you might wonder? Not 100 feet from the water was a wizard's tower. He was forced to become the wizard's minion. I was playing a rogue in one campaign who had more than his fair share of brushes with death. The most memorable one was not long after the party received a ring of spell storing, which, at the time, we didn't know for sure what it was, let alone what was stored in it. We were in an area that was beginning to flood, but had locked ourselves into a room where we could at least try to buy some time. On one side of the room was a sealed door that was clearly our way out. We had entered through a separate door. My character, thinking of how we at least knew the ring had opened some sort of portal by an NPC, decided to press the ring against the door to try and create an opening. One point-blank fireball later, and my character was on death saves. Our healer was tapped out on spells, so the DM asked me to roll a death save. Natural 20, baby. There were more than a few similar moments where he would do something incredibly stupid that probably should have killed him, but that was the one that set the tone overall. A ballista bolt impaled my character, a tiefling artificer, and buried itself in a rock behind me. I was a sitting duck, but I had recently discovered the mechanics and alchemy of firearms and had a revolver. As long as I didn't move, my DM said I wouldn't take any more damage, the bolt held me in place, and kept my organs and blood inside me. So I sat there firing off gunshots. Our paladin, a half-elf, managed to pull me off the bolt after it was all said and done, doing some weird healing word while sticking his hands inside the hole through my body to close up the wound. Blech. Strange for my character, as she's secretly in love with him. Well, he explored some part of your body today, ma'am. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, and of course, let us know in the comments below, how the hell are you still alive in your campaign? What happened? Tell us all about it. And if you want to join our membership, you can. You'll get some early access to videos and maybe some outtakes too. We love you all. See you next time. Toodaloo.